Hello! The most expensive city in the Arctic, where a bottle of milk costs $18.00 and walrus meat is white gold in the icy cold. But what keeps the Inuit people attached to walruses, even when the world outside has changed? In a place where a block of frozen meat costs as much as a fancy dinner in New York, Inuit prepare for an extraordinary journey to hunt walruses in the sea ice. An adult weighs nearly 1,800 pounds. Enough meat, fat and skin to feed 25 people for weeks. But what they seek is not just food, but a way to keep alive the memory of their ancestors. In this harsh ecosystem, walruses are a bridge between the deep ocean and the frozen world above. They stir up the seafloor as they feed, releasing nutrients that feed countless small creatures, which in turn feed large predators from polar bears to killer whales. Under the grey light of the winter sun, these giants are not just prey, but the heartbeat of the Arctic. A journey begins. The boat slid through the ice floes. They were silent, only the sound of wood creaking under the pressure of the wind. Ahead lay a herd of walruses, huge and still as breathing rocks. The hunters raised their rifles. No one spoke. They waited for the breath of the walruses to rise in the mist. There was only one chance. A bang! The ice broke! The herd of walruses jumped into the water, startled, the heavy breathing, the crash of waves on the ice. The fight for survival had begun, and there was no room for error. As the dim dawn lights up the sea ice, the hunting party sets out on snowmobiles and wooden canoes. They follow the trail, a small streak of blood seeping through a crack in the ice, or a wet hole where a walrus has just emerged. with traditional rifles and steel-tipped spears. Each throw must be exact because walruses are formidable opponents, capable of dragging the entire canoe with them if only wounded. These moments are not just about reward, but also about balance, taking down prey without disrupting the ecosystem. However, hunting is not free. Strict conservation regulations from the Canadian government limit the number of walruses that can be hunted each year to around 74 per area, to protect the animal population and maintain biodiversity. Exceeding the quota can result in heavy fines, and even a permanent hunting ban is a necessary measure to ensure that the next generation still has this living bank. Once the walrus is pulled onto the ice, the next big task is to process and prepare this precious resource. Hunters work quickly with traditional tools, keeping the hide intact before dividing the meat and fat. In case you didn't know, a full-grown walrus can yield about 440 pounds of lean meat, 660 pounds of fat, and an additional 110 pounds for traditional cooking, all done quickly before the cold freezes everything. When all was done, the whole village gathered. No one asked who hunted, only who needed it most. The lean meat went to the elders and veteran hunters, who kept the memory of the sea. The fat and skins went to the women, who made clothes, cooked food, and heated with oil. The children got a smaller portion, but it was a portion of hope. Nothing was wasted. The tusks became tools, the skins became clothes, and the rest became symbols of unity where the cold could not divide. In Nunavut, refrigeration is a luxury and nature is the best cold storage. Walrus meat is wrapped in its own skin, buried in deep snow or ice caves to keep it fresh. Some is sliced and dried into pemmican, a food reserve that can be stored for years, ready for when the sea freezes completely. Tusks are specially cleaned and carved into knife handles, ornaments, and works of art. Each line on the tusk tells a story of the hunt, of ancestry, of Inuit identity. In an age of supermarkets and imported goods, why do Inuits still venture out onto the sea ice with wooden spears? The answer lies not just in the high cost of food due to long distances of transportation or nutritional needs, but in a deeper value. Each walrus is worth $15,000, 0 cents, not for its monetary value, but because it connects the community to its ancestors. They adhere to quotas to avoid harming the ecosystem, especially as climate change rapidly melts the ice. While the outside world may see this as backward to the Inuit, it is the power of an eternal loop between people and the Arctic. A wave of terror is sweeping across the Australian outback as dingoes brutally attack buffalo, kangaroos, wild pigs, and even a woman on a Queensland beach. With dingo numbers increasing by 15% since 2015, sheep herds have plummeted by 40%, devastating the livelihoods of pastoralists and spreading risk throughout rural communities. The invasive species stalks the moon, threatening not only livestock but also the delicate balance of nature, as unchecked kangaroos destroy vegetation. Will nature hold its ground, or will the dingoes claim victory? But confronting these predators requires absolute precision, where a neglected gun can be a betrayal. As the SSA's How to Clean and Maintain a Gun program hastily reveals, a barrel clogged with gunpowder residue will cause bullets to stray, turning hunters into prey in an instant. How long has it been since you scrubbed your rifle barrel with a copper brush soaked in solvent, or oiled the metal surface to prevent the dangerous adhesion of rust? This meticulous ritual is more than just maintenance, it's a survival knife. For dingo hunters, the ultimate technique is sniper accuracy from 100 to 200 yards. Aiming the .223 round with precision, quickly taking the sting out of a dusty fight. In the 1980s, rifle hunters in the Australian outback brought down dingo packs, reducing livestock numbers by more than 60% and reviving the booming sheep industry. But this relentless, blindly pursued slaughter has wreaked ecological chaos. The dingo hunting was not wrong, but its reckless, ecologically ill-conceived nature was a grave mistake. If governments were to switch to selective hunting, they could create a tense truce between pastoralist livelihoods and the balance of nature. As for hunting, I have found that night dingo hunting has proven highly effective for ranchers each year. Using night vision scopes, hunters aim at the right location and distance during peak activity hours. However, this high-risk hunting activity requires extreme vigilance. Low light poses a risk of misidentification, which impacts native species. Stray light exposes the hunter, requiring upwind movement and cover. Infrequent checks in remote areas increase errors, disrupting ecosystems. Hunters must work with authorities, use GPS and adhere to regulations, balancing livestock protection with ecological responsibility for sustainable results. Instead of dingo hunting, large, spring-loaded steel-leg traps, often padded to comply with humane regulations, are used along familiar territory trails, camouflaged under foliage and scented bait to attract the animals. Unlike fox traps, dingo traps are primarily used for larger dingoes. They are set in remote bushland due to their larger size, pack behaviour and native habitat, which require closer monitoring. The most effective annual dingo trapping is in late autumn to early spring from March to June, coinciding with the breeding season when dingoes are more active in search of mates and food is scarcer. The government offers a reward for dingo skins to encourage control, minimise initial livestock losses, and demonstrate short-term effectiveness in protecting the rural economy. However, over time, the dingo's adaptations to detect and avoid traps through the persistent scent of humans, obvious environmental disturbances, and learned behaviour from surviving pack members make this method less effective as the population adapts seasonally. So, what do you think is the best solution for the growth of the dingo population? Or should we just keep trapping and waiting in vain? Spanning over 3,500 miles, Australia's dingo fence stands as a steadfast barrier, shielding livestock from dingo predation and protecting ranchers' livelihoods from crippling losses. Yet this iconic structure, visible even from space, carves a deep wound across the outback's ecosystem. Satellite imagery starkly reveals that where dingoes are blocked, kangaroo populations surge, overgrazing vegetation and triggering soil erosion. This imbalance threatens biodiversity, with invasive species like foxes thriving unchecked, endangering native wildlife. The fence also severs Indigenous pathways, fracturing cultural ties to the land. So, I ask you, is this measure on the right path? Or is it fundamentally flawed? Donkeys on US farms trip over active electric fences, scream and run away. Farmers are required to inspect fences weekly for defects. After being electrocuted, donkeys need to rest and be examined by a veterinarian for burns within 24 hours to ensure recovery and protect these hard-working animals.
Good morning.
In suburban neighbourhoods in the United States, snakes often slither into trouble near electrical boxes. Videos show them being electrocuted by wires or insect traps. Check your yard for exposed wires and use humane pest control, which is also a way to protect yourself from electrical current. Have you ever seen a snake get electrocuted? If so, comment. Wild pandas in rural China trip over electric fences, causing chaos. These 4,000-volt barriers, erected by farmers to protect crops from hungry bears, deliver powerful shocks. Attracted by easy food, they keep coming, but farmers must secure the wires to avoid harming the curious creatures. Since the 1000, 970s, birds such as ibises and eagles have been electrocuted by poorly insulated power lines in the United States. These videos show birds striking transformers, highlighting the aging of the power grid. Upgrading to bird-safe designs is critical for wildlife conservation and grid safety. Horses being electrocuted by 3,500 volt electric fences is nothing new on rural farms, which are seen every day. Footage shows neglected maintenance causing risks. Farmers rely on electric fences for containment, but ignored signs are causing accidents. Virtual fences with audible signals offer safer control, minimising harm. In an abandoned zoo, curious chimpanzees wander through rusty gates, unaware that the wires are still buzzing with 2,000 volts. These clips capture their terrifying shocks. They escape, dazed but still alive. Warning! Neglected electrical systems in old sites pose a danger to wildlife and explorers. Rural pigs squealed and scattered after crashing into a 3,500 volt smart fence designed to protect crops from the animals. The fence traps highlight the challenges farmers face in keeping pigs out while avoiding shocks to livestock. Upgrading to a low voltage, sensor-based fence could mitigate these shocks. Cattle are snatched from farm fences, putting them at risk of serious injury. Each snatch can cost farmers $1,000, 0 cents, to $5,000, 0 cents per cow in veterinary bills or loss of livestock. Protect your herd with insulated wire, regular fence inspections and non-electric fencing to protect your valuable assets. Electrofishing stuns fish for easy capture, but it's slammed in Europe and Asia for harming aquatic ecosystems. Clips show fish thrashing under electric currents, risking non-target species. Critics in Norway and Thailand push for bans, urging sustainable nets instead.
These approaches have been great at stopping the spread of some invasive species. Got any ideas for even better solutions? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can all dive into it together. Thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, be sure to tell your friends about us too so they can check it out. Bye and see you in the next video.